If you want the best settings for Mouse PI for Hire to get this game looking sharp and running smooth on your PlayStation, you are in the right place. I've spent the last few days living in this noir world as a private investigator to figure out exactly how to kill the blurriness that ruins the experience on default settings. We've got a lot to cover across the base PS5, the PS5 Pro and the PlayStation Portal, so let's get into the settings you need to change right now. Alright, let's look at the standard PS5 first. Mouse PI for Hire is a super unique game. It's set in a 2.5D universe with 2D hand-drawn rubber hose animations for characters and items, but the world itself is actually 3D. It's like 1930s Mickey Mouse meets Doom, and I am all for it, but those default settings, they really don't do the game any favours. Also, a big shout out to the devs for sending over a code for the game so I could break all this down for you. Now, if you go into the graphics preset on the base console, you'll see an option for quality mode, which is targeting 4K at 60 frames per second. While this is a way sharper image, I noticed it comes with some pretty noticeable frame drops when the action gets heavy or there's fast movement in some areas. So this is definitely not running at a locked 60 FPS. Because of that, I actually recommend sticking with performance mode, which is targeting 1600p, which is basically 2K at 120 frames per second. It's just a lot smoother during gunfights, and since performance mode is naturally a bit blurrier due to the lower resolution, we're going to fix that in a bit in the next section as much as we can. For now, prioritize those frame rates. Even if you don't have a high refresh rate monitor, just pick the performance mode as it is way smoother. Now, for my pro owners, it's a bit of a weird one. You'd expect the most powerful console on the planet to just solve the blur and the shimmering, but there is actually no official PS5 Pro enhancement patch for this game yet. There's no PSSR being used here to clean up the performance at all. Because the Pro is just brute forcing the base game code, performance mode still looks noticeably blurry and has some nasty shimmering on those 2D outlines and 3D objects in the background. On the Pro, for some reason, I don't know why this is the case, but it is. To fix that, you want to select quality mode. It looks way sharper and the Pro handles the frame drops much better than the base machine, which is bizarre. There is still frame drops here even in the quality mode. On the Pro, I did notice some random artifacting once or twice, but it's still a far better way to play the game in my opinion. This artifacting is really weird. It's as if like textures or stuff isn't loading incorrectly. Hopefully that all gets fixed in a future patch as well. And just in case the devs drop a PS5 Pro patch later on, make sure you have PSSR switched on. Go into your actual PS5 Pro system settings, head under screen and video and toggle on enhanced PSSR image quality. Just leave it on. Trust me, that way you're ready to take advantage of a PS5 Pro update the second it drops for this game, and fingers crossed it does. Regardless of which console you're on, there are two settings you need to kill immediately to stop the game from looking like a smudge. I know it's meant to be an old school game, but still, trust me, just do this, it looks way better. Go to graphics and turn film grain and diffusion both to 0. If you leave these on, they work together to make the game look super blurry. Turning them both off makes everything look way crisper. Now, some of you may prefer the blur because of the old school style the game is going for, but for me, I enjoy it looking less blurry a lot more. Let me know your preference down below in the comments. Next, go to gameplay and turn off screen shake and head bobbing, put that to off as well. This stops the image from bouncing around when you're moving so you can actually see what you're aiming at. And for your field of view, I recommend bumping this up to 100 or 105 so it lets you see more of the bad guys on screen and gives you a much better sense of what's going on around you, because the gunfights can get quite hectic in this game. Finally, set your crouch input method to toggle. This is way more comfortable. You just press the stick once and you stay in crouch rather than having to hold it down while you're trying to move about. If you haven't picked the game up yet and you're liking the look of this 1930s chaos, check out the links in the description below. Using these links helps you snag a great deal on the game, and it directly supports the channel at the same time. So thanks for the support if you pick up a copy today. For the controls, the default sensitivity is a bit sluggish in my opinion. I found that 35 on both horizontal and vertical is the happy medium here. It's fast enough to snap onto targets without being too twitchy. Also set your aim type to linear. Linear is the best because it is the same speed at all times. No changes in the speed. It just allows, pure consistency for your muscle memory, so you get better and better at the game. And the audio, the music sounds most modern and crisp on bass. Like, listening to old music on a new sound system. But if you want that true 1930s vibe, give brown wax cylinder a go. It adds a really unique crackle to the jazz that sounds exactly like what I'd imagine listening to the music on 1930s tech would actually sound like. Let's not forget about the PlayStation Portal. I've been testing this specifically via cloud game streaming, streaming my own games directly to the handheld. Interestingly, even though the Portal is streaming the base PS5 version of the game, quality mode is the way to go here, not performance mode. Now, normally in cloud gaming, running a higher frame rate like performance mode can actually help reduce input lag or delay, even on a 60Hz screen. However, in this case, my findings still stand. Quality mode just looks so much sharper on that 1080p screen. Because the Portal screen is only 60Hz, you aren't seeing those extra frames. And with diffusion and film grain at 0, the stream looks clean and holds up really, really well. Plus, bizarrely, I find that playing the game via the cloud on the Portal seems to have better performance than playing on my base PlayStation 5 console in quality mode in terms of holding a more steady frame rate. Now, this might just be my mind playing tricks on me, but it definitely seems like that. If you're playing via standard remote play, you just then stick with the settings for the console you're connected to. Now your settings are locked in and you've got that 1930s game looking just that little bit crisper, handling a bit better. You're ready to clean up the streets of Mouseburg. But if you're looking to save some cash on your next game, you need to check out my guide on how to get PlayStation Plus for way cheaper than the standard price by clicking this video right here.